our functional fitness class, part of our Grow with GoGo series. Before we get moving, just a quick reminder of what else GoGo offers. So in addition to these classes, you can access rides, meals, groceries, medication delivery, and home services. So home services is really anything that you need done around the house. Maybe you need someone to get some, change your light bulbs that you can't reach, or shovel some snow, or just do something around the house that you're having a hard time with. That's what the home services are for. And you can access all of that by calling one number. That phone number is 855-464-6872. We also have a referral program. So if you go to the bottom of your GoGo receipts, there is a code. If you give that code to a friend, once they've taken their first service with GoGo, you'll both receive $10 in credit. So just a nice win-win. We have a Facebook group as well. So if you ever want to connect with other GoGo members or just see how other people are using GoGo, you can find us on Facebook, and I'll share a link to that in the chat. If we haven't met, I'm Adra. I teach the yoga and the functional fitness classes here at GoGo. What do we need today? So it is functional fitness. So this class is mostly standing. Our yoga class is mostly seated. The functional fitness is mostly standing. But we do use a chair here and there, so grabbing a chair is helpful, as well as some light weights. So some maybe 1 to 3 pound weights. If you don't have dumbbells, so you can grab dumbbells if you have them. If you don't have dumbbells, some cans or water bottles work out great. And if you don't have those, you can just imagine that you're lifting something. But sometimes it's helpful to just have something, even if it's a light item like a can or a water bottle. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm seeing, okay, we've got Barbara also in Aspen. Great. Always nice to see where other people are coming from. So screen is no longer being shared. I should pop up here in a moment as your big screen. If I do not, you can adjust your settings. So we can adjust it to speaker view. You can move, if you move your cursor to the top right-hand corner of your screen, a little box will come up that says view. If you pick speaker view, you'll see me nice and big. If you pick gallery view, you'll see everybody else. So it's really up to you what you want. It's usually just a little easier if you see me nice and big. All right, I'm just going to adjust where my microphone is, and we'll get started. So standing, just finding a nice standing position, feet are maybe 4 to 6 inches apart. Let's take a few shoulder rolls back. And some shoulder rolls forward. So just a reminder that this is your time. So if you ever need to modify or take breaks, please do so. Listen to your body. Let's inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Exhale, lower the arms back down. Couple more times. Inhale, arms circle out and up. And exhale, lowering down. A few more times, follow your breath. So don't worry about my speed or anybody else's. Really move at your own pace. So if you're new to class, every functional fitness class is different. We focus on different parts of the body. Some themes will come back here and there, but just know that if some of the exercises aren't working for you, we'll do different ones, or, the following week, it will be a different class. So know that there's lots of options for lots of bodies. All right, let's go ahead and release the hands. And let's take the feet a little wider than the shoulders. You can let the toes point forward or slightly out to the side. It's up to you. We're going into some squats. Watch that your knees track with your feet. So we don't want to let those knees fall in. So the knees are tracking with the feet. You'll bend your knees, chest stays somewhat lifted, but can lean forward. Hips go back. I'll give you a little side view. And then coming up. So we inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, straighten the legs. So keep going here. You can move at your own range of motion. So it can be really small, or it can be big. So like you're getting down to sit into a chair without using your arms, and then coming back up. Really watching those knees, so we want to avoid this. None of this. No knees knocking in. Keep them pressing out. Couple more. and then coming all the way up, shake it off. And we're gonna reach those arms up overhead. We're gonna do this first for a moment without the weights, and then we'll grab our weights. So imagine that you're holding your weights. You're gonna reach your arms up towards the ceiling, and just notice how you do it. And then bend your elbows out to the side and then lower the arms. It's almost like you're creating a W shape to begin. Palms face forward, push those palms or those arms up, and then back down. Think about your spine and notice what your spine is doing here. We want to try and lift the arms up overhead without moving the spine or the pelvis. So this is what I sometimes see. To reach the arms up, I see a little back bending in the spine. We don't want that. We don't want to put that much pressure on the back. I also sometimes see this, the pelvis pushing forward. So we're trying to keep our body relatively upright as we push those arms overhead. If that feels really hard to sense, I recommend you come stand against a wall and put your glutes against the wall. Your heels can be 1 centimeter away from the wall and your heart rate monitor height or bra line height against the wall, and do the same motion. And just watch that no parts that you put down against the wall move. So you can keep doing this without weights, or let's increase the challenge and grab your weights or your water bottles. If you need to be honest with yourself, get yourself against that wall if you can access it. If you can't access the wall, just really pay attention that you're not moving your ribs or your pelvis or your spine. If you are against the wall, again, heels are maybe 1 centimeter away from the wall, glutes or hips are pushing against the wall, and bra line against the wall. The head may or may not touch. Push those arms up overhead and back down. So just some overhead press, warming up those shoulders, but core should be working as well. So sometimes there's some work to keep those ribs down so that the spine doesn't move as you do this overhead press. If this is really hard with the weights, get rid of the weights. Really focus on nice form. I prefer you do good form and be safe, then do bad form with heavy weights. Of course, if you have an injury, please honor your injury. Don't hurt yourself further. Couple more. All right, one more. And then let that go. Whew. I'm going to put the weights off to the side, and we're going to stand in front of the chair. So the base of the chair is in front of you, the back of the chair is a little further. I'm sideways so you can see. You can be sideways, or you could turn your chair so that you can look straight ahead. Come stand really close to your chair. So standing upright until your knees are just grazing your chair, just barely touching the chair. You can use your chair for balance here. We're going into a squat. The reason the chair is there is we don't want the chair to move. You're going to try and keep your shins vertical. So the lower legs are going to try and stay vertical as we bend the knees and hips go back. So we're bending the knees, hips go back. The chair is relatively still, so I don't want you to be pushing into the chair. The knees are still just barely grazing the chair. So your feet are a little under the chair. Maybe you need to hold on, maybe not. We're looking to feel some sensations here in the back of the legs. Look at your knees. Make sure your knees are tracking forward and not knocking in. So I'm going to show you from the front. Right, knees are tracking forward. They're not falling in towards each other, right? That's not nice on the knees. We want to make sure that they're pushing slightly out. Great, and then come up. Readjust if you've moved away from the chair. So knees are just barely grazing the chair when you're standing tall. That's just to keep us really honest. Bend those knees, hips go back into that little squat. Hands can support you on the chair. And come up. We're just going to do a few squats like that, really focusing that attention towards the backs of the legs. Maybe this starts to get easy enough that you don't need to use your arms to hold on, but just use your arms reaching forward to counterbalance the weight of your hips. It's up to you how low you go. Paying attention to those knees to make sure you're not pushing that chair forward, but also making sure that those knees aren't knocking in. Let's do one more of those. All right, and then coming up, pause. We're going to add on. If this felt really hard already, you can stick with playing with this, maybe holding on a little bit, maybe not. If you're up for another challenge, we'll add on. So going down into that first squat, so that lower leg is relatively vertical to the earth. We're going to keep that right knee bent. So that right knee is going to stay bent, the foot's going to stay firmly planted on the ground. You're going to let your weight shift a little to the right. I recommend you hold on and then try and lift your left foot off the ground. So suddenly there's a lot more weight on that right leg. You can hold on as much as you need. Make sure that knee is tracking forward and not falling inward. If anything, think about pushing the knee out to feel the hips, maybe the back of the leg. Make sure that knee is still bent. Bring the left foot back down to the ground and we go to the other side. So weight shifts to the left. That left knee is tracking forward. We're lifting that right foot if you can. So that left knee, I'm just moving my leg back so you can see that left knee stays bent. And then right foot comes down. We come all the way up. You can stick with that variation. So we're going to keep adding layers. You stop at any point and just repeat what feels like the correct challenge for you. So adding on, we're standing close to the chair. We bend the knees, hips go back. Those lower legs are vertical. You're holding onto the chair if you want. You can keep going up and down like this, or you're going to add that balance. So lifting that left foot off of the ground. So that weight's on that right leg. Make sure that right knee is tracking forward. And now we straighten the right leg, coming up to stand. You can use that chair for balance. And then bend the right knee, hips go back. Don't push that chair forward. And then left foot finds the ground. We shift to the left. Maybe that right foot comes up. Maybe you just stay here and play with holding that. Or maybe you straighten that left leg, really using the leg muscles more than the arms if you can. And then re-bend. Watching that leg stays vertical or the lower leg stays vertical. Bring the right foot down and then come up. Step away from the chair. Whew. Shake it off. We're going to go back to those overhead presses before we return to that same exercise. So grabbing those weights if you'd like. Finding the wall if that was helpful. If not, don't worry. You don't need to use the wall. Try not to let the spine move or the hips move. Arms start in this sort of W shape with the palms forward. We push the arms overhead and then back down. Thinking that this is just a shoulder and an arm exercise. The rest of the body is staying still. So yes, the core has to work, but we're not moving the spine. The core is working to stabilize your body. Couple more. All right, and then letting those arms come down, putting the weights off to the side. Woo, we're gonna do a little stretch before we do that squat again. Let's get behind the chair. So go to the other side of the chair or put your hands on the wall or a table. We're just going into an L position. So you'll walk your feet back and get into an upside down L. So your torso is parallel-ish to the ground. Your ankles are underneath your hips. So if this is too much on the shoulders, your torso can be up. If this is too much on the legs, your knees can be bent. You can also do a combo of the two. So knees can be bent and torso can be slightly up. Few deep breaths. And then lift the torso up, walk a little forward. We're gonna do a calf stretch. So we'll step that right foot forward, left leg back. Feet are anywhere from 1 to 3 feet apart. All 10 toes face forward. Let's bend that right knee. We're pushing the back heel down into the ground, giving yourself a little calf stretch. You might also feel a stretch in the front of the hip. And let's switch sides. Other leg back, bend the front knee. Feet are anywhere from 1 to 3 feet apart. All 10 toes face forward. Back leg is straight, front knee is bent. Few deep breaths. All right, and then coming up. We're gonna go back to those little squats. So coming to the front of the chair. So we're really using the chair to make you honest. You don't actually have to use the chair. It's just a lot more work for us to think about keeping those shins or lower legs vertical. So just know that you can do this without the chair. I just find that the chair helps a lot. So make sure that you are standing very close to the chair to begin. So standing tall in a comfortable position with your knees just barely grazing your chair. So just touching it. Hands can find the back of the chair if you need for balance. Let's bend those knees back into that squat. We're going to go through all of the variations. You can stop at any point and just keep repeating the variation that works for you. Maybe you go a little deeper. So that might mean that your torso needs to come forward a little more to go deeper. So if that feels okay, do that. Knees are pointing straight forward. Don't let them fall inward. Keep that alignment of the legs. Come all the way up to stand. And then all the way back down. Feel free to keep repeating that. Or let your weight shift into that right leg. Watch that that knee is tracking forward. Don't let that knee knock in. Float your left foot off the ground. If you need to, those toes could be down just for a little balance support. And then thinking about here, can you go a little deeper? Maybe, maybe not. Be kind to your body. Try not to grip too much with the arms, so the arms are there for balance, not so much for weight bearing. Let's bring that left foot back down. Weight shifts to the left. Make sure that knee is tracking straight forward. Maybe that right foot starts to come off the ground. Maybe the toes stay down. Maybe they lift. Again, you're trying not to grip too hard with the hands. They're just there for balance. So you should be able to float the hands for a moment and bring them back down, or just hold on with a couple of fingers. Let's bring that right foot back down. We'll straighten the legs. And then going right back down, we have one more variation. Again, feel free to repeat any of the earlier variations. So shins are vertical, hips are back. You go as low as you want. Weight shifts to the right, float the left foot. Maybe the toes are down, maybe not. And then we straighten the right leg. And then rebend, hips go back. Try not to push that chair forward. Lower the left foot. Lean to the left, float the right foot off the ground. Toes can be down for support. Make sure you start low. Knee track straight forward, straighten the leg. And then back down. Hips are back. Lower the right foot. Even out the weight. Right to left. Maybe lower one more inch. Try and get those legs really vertical, the lower legs. Maybe you float those hands. Whew, and come all the way up. Shake it off. Let's do one more set of those overhead presses and then we'll move on to something new. So grabbing those weights if you'd like. Maybe using that wall if it's supportive to you or helpful for you or accessible. Sometimes we don't have a wall space near where our computer or tablet is. Starting in that W shape, palms are forward. Weights start by the shoulders, or maybe you're grabbing water bottles or nothing at all. Push those arms overhead and back down. Be honest with yourself. So try not to move the spine, try not to move the hips. Try and straighten those arms completely at the top if you can. If you get tired, take a break or maybe alternate, doing one arm and then the other, right? That's an option. You have choices. Couple more. All right. Let's put those weights down. Let's give our shoulders a little stretch. I'll mirror you here. So we'll bring that right arm forward and across in front of the body. Use your left arm to hook the elbow and pull the arm in. A few deep breaths. And switch sides. Other arm comes forward and across the body, hooking the elbow, pulling the arm in. Jaw is relaxed. Right, and release, shake it off. We're gonna go into some heel raises. I'm taking my socks off just so that I don't slip around. If you're on hardwood floor with socks, now's a nice time to take them off. Unless you have grippy socks. Socks on carpet should be fine. So standing behind your chair or a table or a wall, so just something to hold on to. I like that thing to be in front of me, but it could also be next to you if you prefer. Have a look at your feet. Let's take the feet about 6 inches apart and let all 10 toes face forward. Knees are tracking forward as well, so just watching that those knees don't start to roll in. And then we'll go into some heel raises, so lifting those heels up and back down. I'm gonna move so that I'm not on such a squeaky part of the floor. So up and down. I'm gonna give you a different variation. If you don't want to be holding on to something with your hands. Your other option would be to stand in front of a wall, just like we did earlier. Glutes just grazing the wall, raw line or heart rate monitor grazing the wall, heels a centimeter away, and do your heel raises there, right? So you have the option to use the wall as well. That can feel really nice because it's a little bit different. It gets the weight further back instead of so far forward. So I love the wall variation, but I also like it the other way. So feel free to play with both. And just do a few more. Okay, and then pause. Let's do a little balance. Let's float one foot. I'm gonna float my right foot, but you can do either. Put one foot off of the ground, balancing on that left leg, holding on. You could do that against the wall, right? Or you just bring the foot forward. Maybe you start to lighten how much you're holding on. Maybe you're holding on with just 1 or 2 fingers or no hands. Just challenging that balance a little bit. And then we'll switch. So hands come back, switch legs, balance on your other foot. Holding on. Maybe not, or just holding on with 1 or 2 fingers. So find that just right challenge for yourself. Again, if you're against the wall, the foot would come forward instead. All right, and then foot comes down. We're gonna do more heel raises, but adding on. I'm gonna face you so you can see. You can keep facing your chair. So feet are about 6-ish inches apart, 4 to 6 inches. You're gonna lift up onto your tippy toes and then let your weight shift towards one foot. So we'll shift towards one foot and then float the other foot off the ground. Maybe bend that knee and then slowly with control, lower the heel. Let's try the other side. So switching sides. Foot comes down, switch, other foot comes off the ground. Oh, sorry, I forgot, I lied. Both feet on the ground. Lift up onto your tippy toes, then float your foot off the ground. Keep holding on with support and then lowering down. Foot comes down. Option to do this against the wall. So I'll mirror you here. Let's bring that left foot forward a little bit. You're gonna push yourself up into your tippy toes. Maybe that left foot comes off the ground completely. And then lower yourself down. Left foot comes down, right foot comes forward. You can use that right foot to help you a little bit. Rise up onto your tippy toes. Maybe that right foot floats and then lower yourself down. So you're gonna keep alternating. If doing this whole one leg thing seems absolutely crazy and not for you, stick to the 2-legged one, right? 2 heels, 2 legs moving together. If not, you're just gonna play with a few more one-legged versions. So you get a little bit of help on your way up, but then try and do it just with the leg on the way down, with one leg. So you have lots of options for lots of levels. So just be nice to yourself. Stop when you need to. Right. And then whatever variation you're in, once you feel even right to left, just do a few in the center with both feet, whether that's using the wall for balance or the chair, or maybe nothing at all. All right, and let's let that go. Hands to your chair, table, or wall. Walk yourself back. Upside down L.
Same options here as we did earlier. If you need to, you can bend the knees. If you need to, the chest can be lifted or the elbows can be bent. All right, and then lifting yourself back up. And let's grab those weights. We're going to do a little externally rotated bicep curls. So grabbing those weights or your water bottles or your cans. The challenge here is we're going to turn those palms to face kind of out. So they're slightly at a diagonal. So that rotation is happening both at the upper arm and the forearm. So our forearms turn to face forward, and then we turn that upper arm so the arms really turn to face kind of out. Then we bend the elbows, creating a W shape, and then lower back down. So our traditional bicep curls go directly in front of us. These are trying to go out to the side. They might not go directly out to the side. Couple more. All right, and then we'll put those weights off to the side. And we're returning to the heel raises. So as usual, we're gonna keep adding on a little more challenge, but let's start with that first option. So first option, feet are 4 to 6 inches apart. You lift up onto your tippy toes, heels rise, and then back down. So that's option 1. Awesome option, plenty of work. Option 2, one foot comes a little bit forward, so we'll say right foot comes slightly forward, lift up onto your tippy toes, then float the right foot off the ground to lower down. And then other side, so right foot is down, left foot comes forward, but you can support yourself, lift yourself up onto the tippy toes, and then float the left foot to lower down. That's option 2. Option 3, we stand on the left foot, we float the right foot off the ground, so that right foot is not involved at all, and you go all the way up and all the way down with no support. And then switching legs. All the way up and all the way down with no support. So those are your 3 options. If you're going to do one leg, I'll tell you when to switch. If you're doing 2 legs, you're just getting plenty of calf raises with 2 legs. I don't care what the range of motion is. So let's go. So if you're doing one leg, just stick to one leg I'll let you know when to switch. So it's about the same amount of time per side. If you need more challenge, whether you're on 1 foot or on 2, you could also let go. Right, so letting go of your balance support will make it way harder. Let's do about 2 more. Either variation, pause, take a moment, maybe bend the knees, straighten out those legs, and then we go to the other side if you're doing one leg, or back to those 2-legged ones. So why is it so much harder on one leg? We are putting our entire body weight on one leg, whereas before it was split in half, so it's kind of like twice the work. Watch that you're not putting too much weight into the arms, that you're really using those legs. Those hands are there for balance. Great. And feet come down. Whew, shake it off. Let's grab those weights and we'll do those externally rotated bicep curls again. All right, so palms face out. Bend the elbows, hands towards the shoulders and lower down. So just watching that those arms don't start to creep close to each other. So those pinkies have a tendency to want to get closer and closer to each other. You're just trying to keep them as far apart as you can, keeping those elbows close to your side. Up to you how fast or slow you go. All right. And then weights come down, take a little break. So now we're gonna go through all of those exercises one more time. All of the ones, or many of the ones we've done already, but we're gonna do the standard one, or the more kind of simple one with both feet on the ground for all of the variations. So we're gonna start with those chair squats where our knees are in front of the chair, where we're not pushing the chair. Then we're gonna do overhead. Then we're gonna do heel raises, and then we'll do those bicep curls. So 4 exercises. We'll begin with those squats. So get yourself right in front of your chair. Feet are about outer pelvis width apart. All 10 toes try and face forward. You're going to be really honest with your knees. Make sure those knees track forward and don't splay out to the side. Bend your knees into your squat and then come up. So you're just going to go down and up many times, but you're thinking about making sure that you're not pushing into that chair, that your lower legs are vertical. You can use support by putting your hands on the chair, or maybe you need more challenge now and you can lift your hands off of the chair. You're going as deep as you comfortably can and safely can. It can feel really hard to go that far back, almost like we're going to fall. So just be gentle with yourself, paying attention to what feels safe for your body. This can be slow. To make it even harder, without lifting one foot, imagine that you're moving through something with resistance, damp concrete, or maybe you're lifting something really heavy on your way up, and then really trying to prevent something from crushing you on your way down. So whatever you need to visualize that nice, slow, strong motion, just a few more. Next time you're standing tall, go ahead and pause. Grab your weights or water bottles or cans or nothing at all. Overhead press, so palms face forward. We push those arms overhead and back down. Again, we're trying not to move the spine or the pelvis. Everything is nice and still. Just the arms and the shoulders doing the work. Couple more. All right, put those weights down. We're going to our heel raises. So you can be against the wall or by your chair. I'm gonna go against the wall for this. But it's up to you. If you're going against the wall, though, make sure you're pretty close to the wall. Heels are only a centimeter away from the wall. We go up and down. It's up to you how high you go, how much you use your hands for support or the wall for support. Up to you how fast or slow you go. Watching that those heels are almost like magnetized to each other. So even though they're not moving, it's like they're trying to touch or they're trying to pull towards each other. Couple more. All right, and then coming down, shake it off. We're gonna do those externally rotated bicep curls. Grabbing those weights. Turn the palms to face out as best you can, making sure that rotation happens through the entire arm, not just the forearm. Then we bend the elbows, hands come towards the shoulders, and then back down. Okay, and then letting those weights come down, shake it off. Okay, our next challenge is sort of a combo challenge. So we're going to put together two of the exercises. So we're going to combine both the squat with the overhead press. And this is sort of an interesting squat in that our weight is trying to go as far back as possible. So I'll just show you here. I'll give you a side view and then a front view, and then I'll talk you through it. So elbows are bent, weights are by the shoulders. We start in the bent position and then we straighten the legs, arms go up. I'll give you a front view. So we're just doing two of the exercises we've done together. So knees are bent, weights are by the shoulders, your hips are back, so your shins are vertical. And then we straighten the legs, arms go up. Great. So use that chair if you'd like for that support to really help you think about vertical legs. And then we're gonna just go ahead. We're bending those knees, weights are by the shoulders, and then straighten the legs, weights go up towards the ceiling. We bend and straighten. So both arms and legs bend at the same time, arms and legs straighten at the same time. We're being honest with our spine, so we're trying not to arch the back on your way up. You're also being honest with those legs, trying to keep the shins vertical. Couple more. Great. And relaxing, whew, letting that go. So this next combo is probably gonna feel maybe a little bit harder, so I want to encourage you to find the variation that works for you. So you might decide, so this is the combo of the heel raises with the externally rotated bicep curl. I'm gonna show you a variation, but then I'm gonna show you lots of other options. So the hardest variation would be to have those weights in the hands and do your heel raise and your bicep curl at the same time and back down. But if balance is tricky, go ahead and find that wall, put your back against the wall, your heels a centimeter away from the wall, and do the exercise that way. So that's another option. If you're going like, that's still insane, maybe you get rid of one of the weights, one hand on your chair, you do the heel raise, bicep curl that way. And then if that's still not good, you choose either the bicep curls or the heel raises. If you're gonna do one arm, I will tell you when to swap, okay? So I'm gonna go through all of those options again. Just the bicep curls, just the heel raises, one hand on, one arm doing the bicep curl, and then swapping halfway through. Body against the wall or body away from the wall. So you have lots of options. Find what works for you. I'm gonna go against the wall today and we'll begin. I'll tell you when to switch if you're holding on and doing one arm. Go ahead and switch if you're doing one arm. Maybe get one or two more in. Whew. And let that go. Put those weights off to the side, shake it off. Let's inhale, circle the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Pause once your arms are up. And let's grab the right wrist. I'll mirror you. Right wrist with the left hand and side bend to the left. You could do this against the wall or not. And back to center and switch. So grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand and side bend to the right. One more time each side, side bend to the first side. Side bend to the second side. And back to center, release the arms. Let's take the feet wide, a little wider than your shoulders, and just let your whole body twist a little bit. Arms can be free. So I'm letting a heel lift as I twist, so I'm just letting the entire body be involved in the twist. And then making your way back to center. Letting the arms circle out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, arms back down 2 more times. Inhale, arms circle out and up. Exhale, arms lower back down. Last time, we'll keep those arms up. Inhale, arms circle out and up. Then hands touch, hands lower towards your chest. Give yourself a round. Awesome job, everybody. So fun working out with you, as always. So before we open it up for questions, just some logistical things here for us today. So calendar-wise, we're going to share the calendar here briefly in the chat. So we're just changing some things up because I'm going to be out of town for a week. And so Caro, whom some of you know, is going to teach yoga. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open this up and I'm going to share my screen so you can all see it nice and big, but we also have a link of it in the chat. So share my screen. Here we go. So let me center this for myself. So next week, right, we're at the end of February right now. Next week on Wednesday is going to be chair yoga. So usually that would have been functional fitness. I know it's all this crazy confusion. On Wednesday is going to be chair yoga, then functional fitness on Friday, and then functional fitness the following Wednesday, because then you're going to have 3 yogas in a row. So the 14th, the 19th, and the 21st, Caro, who's excellent, will be teaching the chair yoga class, but she's going to only teach chair yoga and no functional fitness. So we have 1 week where there will be no functional fitness. We have recordings. So if you feel like going and watching videos of functional fitness, you can go to the recordings. We have lots of recordings on our YouTube channel. So just a heads up there. And so this is in the chat. I'm going to stop sharing, but it's in the chat. So go to the chat and open it up for yourself if you'd like. And now, if anybody has any questions or thoughts or feelings, now is your time to do that. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I've stopped spotlighting. If you want to see everybody, you can move your, change your view to gallery. If not, you can just keep it on speaker and whoever's speaking will pop up. Where it says buzz doc, I think you're speaking, but you're on mute.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to let you know it was my first time on. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for being here. I'm going to hang out for a few more minutes in case someone suddenly has a question or a thought, but yes, of course you can go. Thank you. Yep, seeing you in the chat. Did anyone find those chair squats hard? No? Some yeses, some no's. I find those really hard. Yes, okay. A little mixture of the two. Okay, quiet group, quiet day. So I won't keep you. We don't need to just stare at each other here. We have the time if you have any questions or thoughts or want me to go over anything.
I just want to say thank you, and I hope you have a good break.
Thank you. Thanks, Vicky. Great to have you.
Thank you. It's been great.
Still here next
Enjoyed
week.
it.
Yeah, still here next week. It's the
okay.
following following week. Well, yes, yeah.
Okay. So the second week
or
of March.
Second/3, so missing 3. But Carol's really great, so definitely take her class. It's different too. It's nice to have someone else's perspective.
Okay, great.
All right, I guess I will let everybody go. Have a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Wednesday for yoga. Wednesday is yoga this time around. So great to have you, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.